As you can see, I'm at a secure location in my root cellar, and my appearance has been altered to protect the innocent. So this week, playing a doubleheader, Baltimore and Toronto, which is the opportunity for two losses. Hopefully not both my losses, although given what I know about my team, I suspect I may get at least one. But however, I'm playing Baltimore and Toronto. Like I said, I have literally at 1-7 a better chance of making the playoffs than these two teams, given Stefan, which is a nice sort of lead-in to Stefan. His convoluted rule structure basically is going to screw his own team, because I'll probably get into the playoffs by scoring more points than his team and finishing a scintillating 8th in total points, although that still remains to be seen. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about Stefan. He shared quite a bit with us, including the correct pronunciation of his name. There are like 40 versions of Stephen out there. Stefan was the 41st. I'm very excited about that. I do have to be very careful, and that's also one of the reasons I'm speaking to you from an anonymous bunker, is that he apparently is some kind of jiu-jitsu badass. Some version of kung fu, I think. I think they beat each other with sticks or something like that. Anyway, it's probably one of those Olympic sports that we only pay attention to every 4 years, like curling or some other Canadian shit. He doesn't sleep, so that's interesting. He likes hockey. Jesus, really? Come on. Oh, you're Canadian. I forgot. So yeah. And last but not least, a 68-page rule book is like anal. I was surprised that you weren't like a judge or a lawyer. Instead, you're a petrochemical engineer, whatever that is. So let's talk a little bit about your team. Candidly, I just flicked through a couple of them. I really only got two guys. Apparently, you have Nick Bosa, who had to delete his MAGA tweets so he could go live in San Francisco safely. Although, really, they're not in San Francisco, it's in Santa Clara, which is a bro household. Refer to bros in my last video when I talked about Ben and his nonsense assembly out there in San Francisco. The other guy is Ben Roethlisberger. And as you know, I've been warned by the powers that be in this house that I cannot talk about rape allegations and Big Ben. So no mention of Midgeville, Georgia, or Stormy Daniels, or anything like that. But I have noticed that he has the largest head in the world. I have an 8¼ inch head. He must have a 9 7/8 head. It's huge. I'm surprised they even have helmets for that. So moving on to my other opponent, Baltimore. So Baltimore has named, and their whole identity about Edgar Allan Poe, the Raven, blah blah blah. So Edgar Allan Poe was a suicidal idiot who hated Baltimore, and this is the character that they adopted. It's like, what the hell? So literally, let's talk about the second most famous person in Maryland or Baltimore, and that's this fat baker who does Ace of Cakes, Duff. His little pot-smoking, hallucinogenic bakery staff there making elaborate cakes all over the world. I tell you what they did do, and I wish they had stopped, was making it look like the Maryland flag, because that looks like someone did it on acid. Anyway, last but not least, the Ravens mascots are called, and I've forgotten what their names are, but anyway, their main pastime, they're at the Baltimore Zoo, are stealing food from each other and hiding it, and ripping telephone books to pieces. So last but not least, well, actually I had a few more things for Baltimore. What is it with your turtle fetish with San Francisco? I mean, terrapins? Come on. Terrapins I can understand in Baltimore. I can understand the illusion in San Francisco, sort of. But Anyway, so I looked at your players, and if your injured reserve list is longer than the number of domestic violence allegations, proven or otherwise, against Tyreek Hill, who's also one of your players. Well done. So Pelicans by one over that bunch. Pelicans by one. There we go. Over Toronto. So I do want to address something else. There was a variety of low-quality trash talk videos that were appearing over the week, sent to me by Green Bay. One of them featured, well, two of them actually. One of them featured going into the Mustard Museum, which is apparently, and I erroneously said it was in Wausau, although it was in Wisconsin, but who the fuck can tell in Wisconsin? Anyway, so he went to he was on jury duty, which had to be fun. He's in Wisconsin. He was drunk. He did it. Probably with a cheese gun or something like that. Anyway, so he went into the Mustard Museum. Apparently they do not allow filming inside the Mustard Museum, which I did think was kind of ironic. Secondly, he came out and he had a T-shirt on that said "Poop on You," which I thought was actually very clever. And he also bought me this, which you can't see, which is a good thing too, because it is literally the only book in Wisconsin. And oops, you don't want to see me there. The only book in Wisconsin, and somehow one of these two guys sent it to me. Out of the states. So now I'm sure there's an issue with illiteracy. Well, wait, let's be honest. There was an issue with illiteracy in Wisconsin, but anyway, it's a second grade reading level, so I'm sure these two guys read it, cover to cover. I hope you recorded in your Goodreads account as your book of the year. Anyway, it's a mustard book. I am actually very touched that you would send that to me, because I do love mustard on my hot dogs. So with that, I'm playing someone next week. So either I'll be 3-8 or I'll be 1-10. But I do know this: I have clinched the #1 spot in the draft. So I'm going to have 40 balls in the lottery, unless I make the playoffs, when I won't get any balls and I'll screw myself out of the first pick and probably end up with a 13th pick, and then I'll be really pissed. Anyway, yeah, I'm done here. I need to go to another undisclosed location.